Next is right of boom and kind of maintaining. I know you guys have had long discussions on this topic. This is important to preparation for the next phase. Let's talk about this for a minute, Mike.
Yeah, quite simple. You should always review how you did. You should always be able to look back on performance and develop, not only improve on what went well, because you can probably always do a little bit better, but what didn't go so well and why. So always make sure that you are taking the time to put this in place and put an after action review in place. Maybe even part of your plan is to hold your after action review within, I don't know, 14 days of the end of an event. Being driven that way by process and procedure and plan is a good way to make sure that you're maintaining a healthy after action review plan. Just from a leadership standpoint, I will add that for me personally, what worked well was I created my after action review during the event. As a leader, I watched the room, I watched the people. I had things I had to do. But when I picked up on something that went very well, I put that victory. I used to keep an easel with a flip chart, and I had victories and I had improvements. And victories I would record and I would stick them up on the wall. And I do the same with things that needed to improve, things we could have done better, things that didn't go so well. By the time the event was over, every wall of my incident command center, my emergency operations center, was filled with paper that had both victories and things we needed to improve on. And people were more than capable and had free reign to get up anytime they wanted to add something, grab a marker, and they were able to add it. So it wasn't just the leadership doing it, but what I did was I built my after action review real time while the event was unfolding or coming to a close, or during the dynamics of the event. Make sure that again, that feedback has to be received not only from inside your organization but outside your organization. Make sure you are on the invite list of other teams that you interact with. Make sure that they are invited to yours, or that they send some form of representation. You want to know how that cross sector, cross division, cross department interaction went. Always make sure you assign ownership to those actions and due dates, and that you meet on a regular basis, regular intervals, to check on progress. If everybody owns it, nobody owns it. Make sure there are specific people assigned to take specific actions by certain dates to make sure that that improvement or that modification takes place prior to your next event. No guarantees, but prior, the end game is to try and make sure that those improvements are in place and socialized prior to the next event, and then track your progress. Make sure that you're meeting on regular intervals, and that you're checking on those action items frequently enough to keep people on, keep them on task. Transitioning in and out of blue sky roles, this is a very difficult time, especially for large scale events. Because you're scaling up, you're going to be asking people who don't normally get involved in this restoration procedure or this crisis management to come in and serve in some sort of a role. There are conflicting goals that you're going to get involved with, meaning that leaders of other organizations are going to be up against deadlines and commitments that don't necessarily don't exactly allow them to contribute as much as they often would like to when it comes to emergencies. So make sure that you're only taking those people that are necessary out of those other divisions, out of those other organizations, so on and so forth. Make sure you're only taking them necessarily, not unnecessarily. And then if you find, if you find that the event turns out to be not as great a magnitude or not as devastating as originally thought, or you are starting to wind down and skate.